Yes, yes. And then as Elon says on for heavy, Grok for heavy, you can have multiple agents doing the work.
Right.
So in my particular case, if you use my example again, so now I would have multiple agents going out and doing the research, maybe in different ways. They would come back and they'd have a meeting, they'd get around a conference table,
Hmm.
and they would say, okay, Randy wants to have the coolest stuff that he can possibly present to his audience every day. Is that cool? No, I don't think that's as cool as this is cool. And so they're having this discussion back and forth. I mean, it's not quite that
Yeah.
simplistic, maybe,
Yeah.
but and maybe again, you and I were talking about this in my post on Friday morning. I brought up this whole idea of truth. So one of the things that because Elon's been talking about truth. So one of the things that those agents that are arguing about things might be doing is saying, well, the article here that you're suggesting, I I felt like it wasn't truthful because it used a salacious headline. It used one statement in the article that was it was clearly not true. So that made me think the whole article isn't true. Throughout the article, it was using hyperbolic language, which caused me a little confusion. Oh, and I checked one of the links and the link didn't exist. So as they're having this discussion, it could even include truth. Imagine the amount of inference it's going to take, the amount
Yeah.
of compute
Yeah.
it's going to take to go back and check the truth of every single thing that's being examined.
Yeah. I mean, there's two thoughts here. I mean, the first is that what we're going to see from at least X is a real change to how this social media presents itself in terms of ferreting out how that information is sourced. So whether we call it truth or something else, the fact is that the AI will be able to almost figure out where the writer sourced his or her material. Um, and I mean, think about that. That's actually quite crazy. Um, but and then to a certain extent, the agentic side of this will produce a different feed that's more set up to what you're looking for without you probably needing to tell it much about what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Um, which is quite different. So instead of and then we'll get synthetic content as well. We'll get content that is sort of just pulled together from all these different, I mean, maybe it starts with a human. It's a human event, it's a human thing, but eventually that stuff is going to be, I actually did a little funny test in Grok 4, did some really funny things in Grok 4. One funny thing is I asked it to um, tongue in cheek estimate my IQ versus CERN's IQ. That was so, and I laughed because I was like, well, CERN, I think you're smarter, um, but I think I'm faking it better, and I think maybe faking it is a sign of high IQ. So, um, but um, but I think what we'll see here is, this really, sorry, I was using an example. I had asked, um, I had asked it to build the perfect post for me. You know,
Okay.
yeah, which is super interesting, right? Imagine if you said, post is 𝐿_BISL every hour on
Yeah.
the hour or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I hated the way I'll be honest, I was like, that's terrible. It was really a terrible. I almost wanted to post it and then tell people
That it
hours
was bad.
later, this was made by Grok and
Yeah.
it feels not authentic and doesn't feel like me. But it's going to feel like me at the point where there'll be a point where we cannot really
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
having it have it. What is it? What Grok 4 has as it's connected deeply into X, and assuming I use X as uh, a social media platform, not on a personal basis per se, but more professionally or for this side of my life. It has this big corpus of information about me,
Mhm.
so it can figure out what I like, but it could also figure out what it thinks I should say. Like I might just ask it, what's something interesting that I should say this afternoon that people would like to read,
Right, right.
given the, and then I could put my own words around it and so forth. So the second half of that is, oh wow, what is that going to do? It's going to require more inference. like, so I I was saying to you earlier, before we started recording this, that I think there was a conversation that happened with the xAI team and Elon, and they said, we can make this really great, but we have to go inference heavy. And that's going to cost you, many more dollars per token,
Yeah.
fractional, whatever. And so, Mr. Executive, Mr. CEO, make the decision. And I think he probably said, yep, let's do that because, and I think some of the other players are looking at this going, well, how is that sustainable? I mean, like, in other words, that Grok Heavy is subscription at what, $3,000 a year?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a reason for that. I mean, this costs real compute.
Right.
Like serious amount of compute. So, so your queries aren't, they're not free.
Right. Exactly right.